is like, I know as soon as I post 5 o'clock, something's going to happen because I had to see accounts still. So I was like, as soon as I post 5, something's going to happen. And sure enough, like right as I turned on like the home stretch, it was just an accident. So we are streaming on all the things. So if you are just tuning in, I apologize for being late. I got stuck in a car accident. Not me personally in an accident. Somebody was in an accident, but caused me to be late, which has caused the whole thing to be late. So, what's anything that will happen or whatever. All right,
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and start the intro, and then we'll see you guys in just a minute.
Warning. The following podcast episode is a couple of the same old jerk-offs talking about happenings in the axe-throwing world. It is meant to be informative, but can sometimes be downright boring. If you get bored, that's okay. You can stop watching, because someone else might find this informative. The opinions discussed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of our peers or any axe-throwing organization. We hope you enjoy the show.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another Sit Your Axe Down. This is episode 37. I'm Kyle. Got Lucas over there as well. And like I said before, sorry for being late. Somebody probably died in a car accident, unfortunately. That's why I was late, which really sucks. Hopefully they did not, though.
Yeah. Hopefully they were fine and just a little inconvenience and for the others.
Big inconvenience for the vehicle.
Yeah, just inconvenient, small inconvenience for you.
Yeah. You got any wild weather? Did you guys get any storms this weekend or this week?
I mean, I think it's been like raining a lot. I don't really know otherwise since we weren't home. But
you weren't home this week? Oh, duh. You were in Minnesota.
I'd been gone since Thursday. We tried to go to a baseball game too.
That's right.
And we were in Atlanta, so then it was just a whole thing.
You said you saw a cool venue while you were there?
Yeah. Well, we got to go to Dan Fisher's venue, which is one of his venues that's inside of like a brewery or attached to it in some way. They had a bunch of extra space and cool things to do. So they had like the foot golf. Foot pool.
That's cool.
So you could like kick soccer balls around and play pool. So we did that. They have like a couple of simulators, like a racing simulator. They have a like a room that just had like some arcade games in it, or like I guess console games. And then they also had a room that was like an all sport simulator, so you could do disc golf, regular golf, baseball, basketball, a bunch of different things. Didn't check that out this time, but I was there like a week ago and got to do the golf thing and do a little bit of axe throwing with some coworkers, and it was cool to check everything out. But my favorite thing was darts. They have electronic Dartsy boards, which are the like self-scoring metal tip darts, and a bunch of different games on it. So even if you're not like into cricket or 501 301 whatever, it's like you can still just play a bunch of different games, kind of like
Did I share that darts thing with you once before, that 501 thing, and it had like the interactive putt thing too?
Yeah, I think it's very similar. But the Dartsy one, I was super impressed. Like it had basically zero mess ups. It scored like super accurately, and we all really enjoyed it. Jenna won the first time, so then she was like, "Oh, let's play again," and then she did not win. So you'll have to ask her about that, next time you see her. But yeah, it was it was interesting.
Nice.
For sure. But the coolest thing was that he had some space that could be used for a tournament at some point. So
Cool. And that one's also attached to a hotel, right, as
yeah,
well.
it's downtown, obviously attached to the brewery. Food is really good. It's not like bar food. It's like a chef.
Like legit nice.
Yeah, like restaurant food, and it was the space that they have though is like kind of upstairs. I think he said it was an old Macy's is what the building was. So it's got these huge, like really nice chandeliers and stuff when you go up the escalators and all this stuff, and then kind of walk into one room and it's like a full on like ballroom with like like a dance floor type of center area with a bar and some stuff. And I think everything was kind of like a marble or granite like countertops and stuff in there. And then there's another room across the hall that was just like an open space, some columns that would, maybe you have to be creative, couldn't just put like all the targets in a row or something, but otherwise, I mean, definitely a large enough space that you could, you know, do a pretty large tournament there and have everybody in the same building, and then also have all the extras attached, for afterwards, or
Yeah, that's really cool.
keep it to where somebody doesn't have to have a loss of business, necessarily during the day, um, and can still have the brewery as well as the axe throwing.
Might
So
draw like a non-axe throwing audience.
yeah, I mean, definitely a chance. Like if there was, some things saying like, "Hey, check it out upstairs," type of thing, you might get some people to come up and just spectate and things like that. So it'd be cool. And then who knows, maybe the ballroom area would be a cool place for like the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah, it'd
really
be.
cool.
It already has like a lighting truss that hangs from the top and stuff, so I'm sure it could be easily, programmed to do certain things that would be cool. So,
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
all right,
Yeah.
we got a couple of people watching. Um, no comments yet that I see on
Yeah, I was
Restream,
afraid it
but
wasn't working because like Restream is such a weird website because like some days like when I go to log into it, it just works, and then like some days like the last time we did an episode, and then this one like I had to like essentially like clear everything, log out, close the browser, open it back up for it to finally like let it work, and then right after we started, everything just froze, and and I was like, well, it still says we're streaming and
yeah.
recording, and everything was showing good on OBS here. And then, so I just closed it and redid it all and opened it back up, and it was working. So I was
All
kind of
right,
afraid it
well,
wasn't working.
Sasha's here, so at least it's working for one person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I busted out my microphone and headphones for again that I haven't gotten out of the box in a little bit. So let me know if the audio is good or bad. I can control the volume a little bit with this setup. So
Yeah, we did a little quick test, and it sounded like we were pretty close to the same audio level, but maybe different. Yeah.
yeah. All right,
Yeah, so
everybody's giving
let's not call
thumbs
it.
up.
That's funny. We're going to talk about the term self scoring, but I
Yeah.
believe the actual term would be auto scoring.
Well, I mean,
Dartboard.
it is scoring it itself. So I would say this is closer to
Closer to
self-scoring.
self scoring. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
But yes, it has auto scoring. It has versus you having to keep score. Cricket was really cool because it would just like put in the doubles and the triples, and it would keep track of your points for you and everything. So that was what we played the most of was cricket.
Yeah, the one that I was telling you about, I saw another video about it and like that board that it's on, it's like the whole thing is a dartboard. And but there's actually um like wires that are just in there. So when it projects the dartboard up there, it projects or doesn't project. The wires are in there, and then it can change all the other stuff around it whenever you do the other games.
Gotcha. Yeah, the let me see if I can actually find
The exact one.
yeah.
I think Dartsy sounds right.
No, Dartsy is correct for sure, but I wanted to show you. So the cool thing about Dartsy is it has a camera on the front. Like, so when you are filling out your thing, you can take a picture well, you can take a picture on the tablet for your profile picture, but then as you're playing, it does like
clips.
video of like the final shot
Oh, nice.
when you win a game, and does a couple of other cool little things with that. So, and then it obviously works like bowling, where every throw it pops up like a little GIF
Little clip
of
thing,
like
yeah.
something, or like a picture or something, kind of teasing you, or you know getting you riled up a little bit, like you suck. But I will say, I told Dan, I think like it was so fast that like by the time I would pull my darts, it would be gone almost. So I told him like it'd be cool if they could make it wait a second or
I
do
wonder.
whatever. But
I wonder if they do that because like when you watch like darts competitions, those guys fly.
oh, it was
Like,
definitely
like they're like, toof, 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 and then boom, they're like grabbing their stuff and rotating.
yeah,
And
it was fast. It would be like if you had a couple of people that were like pretty competitive, it would keep up with it, and it was cool that it wouldn't go to the next player until you took all the darts out. Like it just knew everything that was going on the board. So it was very well thought out. I was super impressed with how well it worked, though. Um, it didn't have any like false scores or anything like that. So
yeah,
I thought that was cool.
that is cool. All right. Well, let's run through a very quick recap of events that have happened since Worlds. First one being ITC, and like I said, very brief because I think I only recall like a handful of people that won things. Number one being Tyler Flynn.
Wait, what did he do?
What did he
What
do?
did you say?
ITC.
Oh yeah, he won at least the two larger things, I believe.
Yeah, Big X and
I don't
I keep
know.
wanting to say Hatchet, but it's the Wilson Cup.
Yeah,
But
because it uses
both of
both.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And some people were salty that he was playing to his advantage.
yeah. So that's a perfect time to mention. Oh shoot, the Hit Your Mark, was it Dead Center podcast? Is that what it's called?
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So they mentioned in there, or Bill mentioned in that episode. I'm only about an hour in, but you guys mentioned us in the podcast, so we'll mention you in here as well. Thank you for that. But Bill mentioned that when he went to Seattle, he had a conversation with whoever he was throwing against about like staying down instead of going clutch, like what Tyler was doing, and it seemed like people were salty about Tyler doing that, and I thought it was interesting to hear that like it, playing, it is a game, ultimately, and playing the game itself is, some people want to play the game as a game should be played, and some want to play like whatever the, go with the crowd type thing. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's always kind of been that. It's been a little bit more that way in ITF than Waddle, as far as like because tying is different in ITF than Waddle. In Waddle, it's just more hatchet. So
yeah,
it's like, why wouldn't I just go for the win now? Versus ITF, it's a completely different thing. So you can strategically decide if you think you might do better than that person at Big X. So I mean, that was obviously the mindset that Tyler had, and I mean, I've talked to him about it a few times now. I mean, it was like, and if I was in his shoes, I probably would have done the same thing. I mean, I don't throw ITF, and I don't think I would have done as well as he did by any means. Or I haven't thrown in a long time, but I do think that um, if I was throwing, I would do the same thing. I would go for the tie against, 80 to 90% of people, and then there would be another 10% where I would say, hey, this person is also very good at Big X, and I would rather try to win right now. Because also at the same time, I mean, his clutch five has got to be, a pretty high percentage. So he's not going to lose on that throw either. He can only tie again. but he has the opportunity to win. But it's just a little bit lower than the percentage of him throwing a bullseye and that person throwing a 5.
Right.
So I think, he made all the right decisions, obviously, and it paid off. So congrats to him for think the first person that has a championship in both, or a world championship.
World
in both.
championship in both. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Saikon had
Has a U.S. Open.
Canadian Open, U.S. Open, and then Wilson Cup, right?
Yeah.
And maybe something else if I missed anything, but
And tons of other second places.
yeah, absolutely. Yosh said Jeb. Yep, Jeb won knife. Right? Just knife?
Yeah, Jeb won knife. Knife was like, I still don't fully, I guess, understand how their knife works. I think it's like 3. I think Tyler was explaining. I think you throw the 3, then you throw the 2. You go score those 2, but you cannot pull them out of the target. So if you accidentally pull them out of the target, you get a fault, and then
yeah. So you don't pull them out, and then you have to go clutch, or you.
I don't think you have to. I think
decision.
I think you can make the decision after it's scored.
Okay.
But somebody can correct me if that's wrong. But I think that's how it works, and only 1 spin, unless overtime is maybe 2 spin. Not positive. But and then doubles, I think, was Rander and Kimmy Supnet.
Yep.
Supnet. Let's just say Rander and Kimmy, because I think I'm confident on Kimmy. But yeah, I think those were I'm not sure who won like the under 70 and
Slayer and
60.
I remember, like, I could tell you what they were, who it was.
Yeah,
if you show me 2 pictures of them.
Okay.
But I can't remember the names.
That's useful, but I don't have pictures, unfortunately, so can't help you.
Maybe
there.
Sasha can help us. I know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
After you score, then you decide I'm going for clutch.
Yeah, so that was what I said. So perfect.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, overtime is 2 spin. So, but yeah, so that was kind of ITC. Sounded like it was a good time.
Yeah. It looked like it was. It always looks like it's a fun time.
Yeah, I was excited to go in 2022, 1 or 2. But couldn't make round 1 because my venue wouldn't let me throw.
I think it was the same 2022 because it was at Riverbend, right, when you were going to drive to.
Yeah, it was
Lexington
somewhere in there
or somewhere and do it.
Yeah, but yeah, I couldn't throw round 1 because round 1 only happens on 1 day, and that was the same day that we were going to Riverbend. So I tried to throw like the morning of or something. And before we left, I tried to go in like really early to throw, and it was all set up. And then last minute, they were like, "Oh, we can't get somebody to come in." So, yeah,
that's great.
It happens. I would love to, throw again, but it's just not looking promising in this area to have a venue, and I can't really afford to travel just for a marathon or a league. So it'd have to be kind of a weird situation. I'd have to find like a really inexpensive place to go to, or a place where I had somewhere to stay to try and throw in a tournament and try and do well. And chances of doing well enough with 0 practice would be pretty slim, I feel like.
Yeah.
But who knows? You never know.
Yeah.
It could happen.
It could happen.
Yeah.
And I think that I feel like, even though, you say that, you don't know that you could have done as well as Tyler, like, I think your level of skill, I think you probably would have done fairly well.
Maybe. I mean, there's a chance. I don't think I would do poorly, but it'd just be figuring it out. I will say, after throwing, I did get to throw, obviously, the axe that Tyler used, and he has 2 of them. The one that he did not chop to pieces threw really well. We threw it for the finals at the tournament. So somebody just said that they think it's 3 days now. I had not seen that, but cool if it is. That would definitely
help
helpful.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
So for my ITC, I think it was like the next week or next 2 weeks after, it was the season 2 national for the Waddle at Anvil Axe in Neosho. I keep wanting to say Joplin because that's essentially where we stayed, but all essentially sister city or outskirt city of Joplin. But that's Greg Ward's venue. I think it was a really really cool venue. Lots of space again. Lots of cool things. The outdoor targets. They had the disc golf outside. Maybe if it wasn't like national disaster that we have all these ticks everywhere this year.
Yeah.
There was crazy. Greg came out. We were like halfway through 9 holes. I was just watching and taking videos, but Greg walks out and he's like, "Hey, we got bug spray up here in case there's any ticks." And like literally, as he says that, I look down and there's a tick crawling up my leg. And then we walked like one more hole, and like Tyler found like 2 or 3 on him, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm done." Like he's like, "Yeah, we have the Lone Star tick, which is the one that does like the alpha gal, which is the red meat. You can't eat red meat anymore." And I was like, "It's not worth that." So I was like, "I'm gonna just go back up here and not get any more ticks on me." But
Yeah. Tyler and I finished ish. We played 2 more, and then we found a couple of ticks on us, and we were done too. So it didn't go super, but it was still fun to throw the disc a little bit. Tournament itself went pretty well.
it was the second run through of the staged tournament. It went a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think it
Maybe a
was
little
just
bit longer than the last one.
yeah, learning curve for the people that were running it. There's just a decent amount of prep work that can happen before
Yeah.
that just saves some of the time. And it's like, some stuff that's kind of hard to just like know that you could do, or things like that. So it wasn't a big ordeal, but just took a little longer than the previous because of some of stuff like that. But overall, I think this time we did hear a lot of positive feedback about it. I had a couple of people come up to me and tell me, I'm like, "Well, I didn't do it, but it was just an idea that we had. It wasn't like I made the decision to do it, but people were like,
Yeah, we did it in the
thanking
tournament
and
committee as
yeah,
part of the council.
thanking people for having it that way so they could get more throws in. And I definitely see the advantage, or the allure for the people that are, maybe those amateurs that just went pro this year or even this season. Those types of people are the ones that are going to benefit the most. And then obviously, I think amateurs, I think it's a great thing for them. Personally, don't love it for pros, or and maybe not. I don't want to speak for all pros, but I don't love it for myself. Maybe, but I think that's just it's not, obviously tournaments aren't about me, so it doesn't really matter if it's good for the community and it helps axe throwing as a whole. Then I think that's the goal. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It
well,
was also the last minute announcement at the tournament was that we were going to do. People keep calling it self-scoring.
yeah,
It's more
yeah, real quick. It is
more
not self-scoring.
described as a version of opponent scoring.
Yeah, you are not scoring your own axe.
Yeah.
You maybe are the first line, but you're not the judge for your axe. You are saying what it is in some cases. I think the best way that it works is that the person holding the tablet, I think it works best if a person does hold the tablet. They say 5-6, and then the opponent goes up and says, "Hey, do you want to look at this? This is kind of close," or "Yeah, this is a 5, like do you, I mean, obviously your opponent's not going to care if you take the lower score, that type of thing. So I think it was, poor timing for the announcement. Could have,
I definitely agree.
yeah, could have easily been announced, you know, 3 weeks prior and let people make that decision on if they do want to be a part of that type of tournament. But
Yeah,
that's not how it worked out.
or even the week prior.
Sure. I mean, maybe that's a little even too close because then you feel like forced to still come. But I think anything would have been better than,
Yeah.
the 30 seconds before we start throwing.
Yeah, I think that made it very tough. That also I think caused a lot of like the first day a lot of confusion because people didn't get any kind of like write up on what it was. Yes, there were things on the tables, but
Didn't see the things on the tables at all.
yeah, like I saw them when I was told the things were on the tables,
Yeah.
but they got up and walked away for the most part. Not a fan of painting. I mean, it definitely takes longer, no question.
If this is. Oh, yeah, he's talking about like being able to watch it from home. It has to be a league. It has to be set up as a league so that you can play everybody the amount of times that you need to. So it is not as easy to watch live games because it's set up as a league. So there's not really a good way to fix that. It's not great for spectating on site either,
Yeah.
because you don't have any idea like, what the scores are,
Where they're
things
at.
like that. Yeah.
It
So
can be difficult for those.
because you can't follow along on your phone even in person, so it's definitely not set up great for that. Um, Essentially, Joe, it was kind of put on them. There was no Waddle representative, so the venue was relaying the information that was given to them from Waddle, from my understanding. So explaining it a little bit, yes, but they were more so just the messenger of how it was going to happen.
Yeah, on I guess was it day two's announcements. I kind of jumped in and explained it a little more. Once again, pointing out that the things were supposed to be on the tables, but like I said,
Yeah.
they got up and walked away. It would have been so great if there was just an email of it sent out. What they did have written down, is essentially what was put together by the rules committee. There was stuff that was given to Waddle by the judges committee, and then it went to a rules committee thing, and then it was what was given, and then there was an alternate version that had a little bit more structure to it. That was the version that ultimately was used for the majority of the weekend because there was slightly more structure. But after the weekend, because of feedback, there were a lot of notes taken. There is going to be a judges committee meeting where we go through the additional structure pieces that are needed for it because the way it's written is just too. Probably the best term is like too overly broad. There's just not enough structure on how do you confirm like with the person who is scorekeeping and things like that. But once that happens, then thanks, Kevin. But once that happens, then it's surely going to go out to everyone, right? Because I do know that it is going to be something that they do want to do Waddle wants to do this going forward.
Hey, but I saw yesterday they're not going to do it at the U.S. Open.
They're not going to do it at the U.S. Open?
It's not what it says in the announcement. It says that there will be lane judges.
Nice.
Unless I read that wrong, so don't hold me to that. Sasha's comment was like, because she throws ITF firstly and then also throws Waddle, she, I assume she saw comments where people were saying it was like distracting to have to look at yours and blah, blah, blah. I personally don't think it is. I don't, maybe I'm of the minority as well. But I personally think it's fine as long as you don't have somebody that's a jerk throwing against you that is just being difficult to be difficult. Because that's not fun for anybody.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, you know, I don't think it's a huge difference. I'm not really sure, you know, and you can be of the mindset of like, I used to do this all when we did PLS for an entire year, and we did a ton of them. Um, I think we did 4 or 5 tournaments essentially that year, and we did opponent scoring for all of those. And as far as I know, we had, 98% of the time it was perfectly fine. We had a couple of issues where people were like, "Oh, this person pulled their axe before this," and blah blah blah. But I can tell you personally, I never had any issues. And when I did have anybody that was like, "Oh, this one's like really close. This is a 6. Do you want to come look at it?" When it was somebody that I trusted or somebody, 90% of the people, I didn't go look at it because, and I used to say, if you can live with it, I can live with it.
Yeah.
So like, if you say it's good, I think it's good.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't go look at a lot of them. If it was, a really close game, we're on throw 9, and I do think that yours is close, I might come take a look at it. I don't think it changes anything, personally, but I can see how other people could, take more issue with it or have, you know, to do something differently to where it could throw them off.
Yeah, I think early on I would have probably been like, "Oh, this is throwing me off," or getting me out of rhythm. But now I think at this point I kind of control my own pace and know how to reset at any point for the most part. I did. Dang, the
Kevin
comments got-
Campbell, no foot fault. Foot faults kind of,
I still
kind
think
of go away
I
at that
still
point
think that
because
there can be foot faults if it's like a true like foot fault. Like I still think you have to be behind the line until the axes are in the board.
oh, for sure.
But
But not the scores called. So that
correct.
is in the version of it, and it will stay in there, I'm sure, of how that part works. Um, yes, regular tournament play for the open, no group stages or anything like that. Um, and yes, I also heard Waddle is not going to be there. That is going to be run by the Trap. Not sure how true that is. I haven't heard anything official, but that is also what I heard. That is going to be the Trap, and I enjoyed the tournament at the Trap last year, which I saw some people saying that Florida has not had a major tournament, but I think they had one like 8 months ago, maybe more months than that. I don't know what month it was in,
I know they've had
but
some regionals.
yeah, but they had a major last year,
They had
right?
the major national. I think it
Or
was called a
were
national.
they called nationals?
I think it was
Sorry.
called national.
So I guess they haven't had a major, and this also isn't a major. This is the U.S. Open, but yeah. Oh, for the U.S. Open, it's judge scoring, so yes, there would be foot faults still, Kevin. Everything will be normal, like there will be a lane judge per the thing. I don't think it is considered a major. I think the U.S. Open has kind of always been in its own category. It used to be referred to as like a televised event. Since it's not televised,
Yeah.
it has just kind of fallen into its own thing. So I think it's probably like in a hierarchy, at least by name. It's like Worlds, U.S. Open, majors / nationals, whatever they're calling them that year,
Yeah.
and then regionals, and then locals.
Yeah.
And then unsanctioned is like probably down here in terms of, actual waddle, but type of tournament, it could land anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, so I think in terms of the job, I'm actually very surprised that they're not gonna try to do the scoring thing. Like
I
it would
mean-
make sense to me if they're going to do it. Like why not do it whenever you're going to, potentially have a Waddle staff member there. It seems odd to me that you wouldn't want to do it, especially when the tournament's essentially going to be outside of the stage part. It's going to be run like a national.
Yeah, I actually disagree, Ryan. I don't think that a dedicated judge is the best scenario, unless it is the same way. Because here's the thing, like if I'm playing against Kyle, judge calls it a 6, calls mine a 6, I go look at it, it's a 5. I think it's a 5. Kyle thinks it's a 5. The judge can't just put it's a 5 in there in the current judge scoring format.
Yeah.
And I think that's stupid. Because if I agree that it's a 5 and he thinks it's a 5, why can't we just put it that it's a 5 and keep throwing? Or on the other spectrum, if they call mine a 5, I'm like, this is definitely a 6. Kyle comes over, looks at it, says, yeah, that's a 6. Why can't I just have a 6?
That was the single best thing I think that was written on any of the judging things that we did at the National, was that if both opponents agree,
yeah,
do it. Like if both opponents agree on it, just
I don't know that dedicated judge is necessarily always going to be the best thing. I think there's like a hybrid situation where I don't think that the players should be touching the tablet. I think that there should be somebody there pushing the buttons.
Yeah.
I think that
that the majority of the people at the National felt that way too, because essentially like the first version was started with like a tablet like mounted where you had to score, and it very quickly turned into like someone was just going up and grabbing, getting the tablet and scoring for people because it was definitely affecting the time and how people threw.
Yeah, it's definitely something that, works better when there's, 3 people that are paying attention and can, all be responsible. But yeah, well, for sure. I mean, but I think that that's more so, it's not necessarily a bad judge. If they call something, they can't just like change it because you said so. So I don't know that that's necessarily a bad judge. But yeah, I think there's a lot of scenarios where the judge should not be the one that is dictating the flow of the game. And a lot of times that's what happens. You get a judge that goes up and looks at every single axe when they're split down the middle. Like it has happened to me numerous times, where I'll be throwing with somebody. Years ago, it used to happen too. Like Philibom and I were playing, and we're like splitting bullseyes down the middle. The judge is still going all the way up to the boards and looking on both sides of the axe. And it's like, what are you hoping to find on the other side? Like that the entire other half of the bullseye just disappeared?
Yeah.
So it's like it's a flow thing too. I think that if you let the throwers be in charge of how the scoring is going, it's better.
So with what Sean's saying, so this is another terminology thing. So button pusher is something that was used and is used quite often in like the discussions with this. We went away from button pusher to use the word scorekeeper because that person's keeping the score, but then also they are like essentially calling the score. The opponents confirm the score. If there's a dispute, then the scorekeeper would go up and then, take a closer look. If there's still a dispute post that check, then they could call for what would technically be a third opinion, would be the head judge coming over and taking a look.
I mean, as long as the first person's opinion doesn't really matter, then I would say that it's still a second.
Yeah. I mean, still a second, but
yeah,
but the amount of second opinions that were called, or like that were called for, I mean, it was significantly less than other tournaments. And I think the majority of that was because if the throwers agreed together, then
it stopped there.
So
yeah, I definitely think it works out better. I mean, just having done tournaments both ways,
it just has to be like
a little structure and
more
let people
structured.
know.
Yeah, more structured and people given notice so they could at least read it.
I don't think the structure would have mattered and fixed any of the issues that happened that weekend.
100%.
I think it just was a matter of telling people and letting them be mad prior to going, if they were going to be mad.
I
I mean,
like the
that's
way you said that, letting them be mad.
yeah, because it's like I think that there's always going to be things that like not everybody's going to agree with, right? So it's like what there's a give and take. Is it better for 95% of the community and there's 5% that don't like it? Well, like, unfortunately, the 5% can decide to either not go to things anymore, or the 5% can suck it up. And I mean, essentially, I'm in the same boat right now. Like, I don't love that the Nationals are still the group stages. It's just so much throwing for me personally that, but I'm also gonna ride it out and do it because I know that they can't change it now in the middle of the year, because they've already given away circuit points on some stages and things like that, and it just wouldn't be fair. So I don't think they would even consider changing it. Um, and I think that's the right choice. But do I think that it's good for me personally? No. But do I think it could be benefiting a lot of other people? Yes.
Yeah. So James says, what do you guys think about Judge Certs moving forward? So, in my opinion, it ultimately depends on what Waddle's going to do. It's
I don't know.
like I said, it's weird that they're not doing it at the U.S. Open. I would have thought they would have, because it was kind of my understanding that it was like, once we do this at the National, this is going to be what's put out going forward, for not only tournaments but for leagues as well. But I haven't heard much more on that since then. But if it does go to this, obviously I would say they need to stop allowing people to pay for the certifications if they're going to be useless. The only one that would be worth still having would be the head judge certification. But then I do think that it would be worthwhile to have some type of simple certification for, basic, here's how you score on the tablet and here's how you do things. Because if you're going, ideally you would want anybody who can scorekeep to scorekeep. So
Sure. Kevin said he's not paying for the judge cert again, but ultimately he will. So, way to really stick to your guns for like, it says 12 seconds. So that was pretty good. But yeah, I think, I think venue owners should know how, I think, or like at least venue runners should know, whoever's managing the venue, things like that. But yeah, I think, things are going to change. You can't just keep everything the same and expect different results. So if they want to continue to try to alleviate some of the stress of running a tournament, which some of that is, trying to get a judge on every lane and not having to, run around and yell. And especially if you're not like well connected in the community or anything, you can't just go up to anybody and ask and get a ton of volunteers and things like that. So it just gets hard, especially with all the rules of like, oh, Jenna can't judge my match and Amanda can't judge your match and my Joe can't judge my
John
match
can't
and
judge Tyler's match.
yeah, with all of that going on, it's like, I get it. So
Do you feel
yeah.
like maybe I just don't remember. I don't feel like we had any pushback at our Pro League Series events about we're
The
gonna,
self-scoring
yeah,
or the opponent scoring, sorry. Yeah, I don't think so.
yeah,
Opponent scoring went well. Like I said, actually the only person I know of that had an issue was you.
yeah.
And
But that, so I was gonna say that earlier, but like that worked itself out. That person threw one more time after that and has
yeah.
never thrown again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's
Went to
always going to be
Worlds,
the 1%, right? Like
went 0-2, has never thrown again.
yeah.
So.
And then AMs can't throw with pros. Yeah. I actually think there's like a hybrid form of this that could still work. I think you could still have that round one that lets the AMs and the pros like mingle, and throw a little bit. It would be, and then you just use that for seeding and then you just go directly into it. for the um, just online. Oh, the format, yeah. I think you could do round one, go directly into um, that as seeding. The AMs could then get divided into groups. The pros could that time could be used to put their scores in and change theirs into seeding and go from there. But I just don't think that can happen currently with
Yeah,
stuff.
we talked through so many scenarios throughout that weekend, and then on the drive back, from the event. And I think it's at this point, because of the way things have been done so far, there's just no good way to change it at this point. But at least there's good ideas moving forward. So
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of PLS, Joe loved the whole format. Are there, any of you that think that, this weekend, several of us went to Minneapolis and went to an unsanctioned tournament. There were still, 20, 30 people there. Um, do you think that could happen again? Could we have unsanctioned PLS tournaments and people would show up? Or
yeah, I don't
are
know if we
there,
would. I don't know if we could call. I guess we could just keep the Pro League Series
yeah,
name.
but
I
do,
mean, it
do you
doesn't
think
matter.
that people would,
PLS.
or do people like need circuit points or think that they need circuit points? You really don't. But do people think that they need to go to all of these other tournaments and then that takes away from the budget to go to tournaments that don't provide any of those?
Yeah, because like if it's that you want to go to a world championship, like we can have a PLS world championship.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah, we did. We tried to pull it off the year that we did it, but we just kind of ran out of time and venues and things like that. But
yeah,
yeah, a lot of people loved it, Jimmy, Sam, obviously, Joe, things like that. But would you show up? That's the question. And could we still pull it off and do $400 one ticket, everything? Yeah, Pro League Series.
yeah.
So Mike, yeah, we used to do a Pro League Series. This is in 2023, four, three, four. I don't know,
20,
somewhere around there.
2023. Sorry, I was reading the comments. Yeah, 2023.
2023, yeah, we used to do it. We would sell one ticket that signed you up for everything. And at the time, there was no knife duels, and there still would not be knife duels at Pro League Series, so don't worry about that. Yeah, so we would do all four disciplines. It would cost $400. Got you into everything. There were a few times where people were like, "Hey, I'm just not even going to come on Friday and throw knives." So it was nice of them to let us know. We would just take them out of the bracket. They still paid the same 400. They threw in everything else. Um, the payouts were really good. I think our first one we did a little bit over $50,000 prize pool.
Oh, I can tell you. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
keep
so we
talking. I'll find.
we
I
can
can.
look it up and see exactly. But I mean, throughout the course of the year, we did like at least over $150,000, I think, total um,
Correct.
for the year in 3 or 4 tournaments. And we basically, if you finished in the top 8, you got all $400 of your money back. So those that finished in the top 8 got all of their entry fee back. And if you finished higher than that, there wasn't a huge drop down. It was typically like 800, or sorry, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 1,000, I think was the most that we paid out to first place. Um, so everybody has their own, goals and reasons for going to tournaments. And if one of
Sorry
them
if I
was to
messed up
get,
the screen, guys.
I
Apologize.
don't know, if you were going for circuit points, obviously you got none by going to a PLS event, but we ran them pretty efficiently, I think. We paid out on the spot. We um, did sometimes try out slightly different things, like we did 7 throw big axe, I think, before it started happening. We
We were
did
the one we tested that at
um,
Traeger.
we just did a couple of different things like that. We tried a different knife scoring. We hated it. but we would have never thought that we hated it at the time. So yeah, there's just a couple of different things. Um, oh, we still paid out in every discipline, Kinson. So like
Here you go.
hatchet had its own prize pool, knife had its own, etc.
Yeah, so I can
But
tell you we did the first one we paid out $27,000.
oh, total?
Yep. The second one for spring we paid out $29,000.
Okay, so maybe I got crazy. Oh, I think it was originally 25,000 was what we had put on the thing.
We paid out. The summer one was the lowest attended.
Yes.
We still paid out over $20,000. And the final one in the fall, we paid out $30,000.
Okay, so just over 100,000.
Yeah. And oh yeah. Actual paid out was just under $110,000.
Yeah, and then we were also paying the venues where we were having the tournaments. So the venues were not having to do a lot of, they weren't having to do a ton of the work. We were fortunate where we were able to get board sponsor typically and things like that. So
however, at the last minute at the end of the year, we did get told we had to go back and pay the app for using the app because of how many people were coming through, which was not fun. Because the way we do all of our tournaments, we don't do anything to make money on those tournaments, because if we make money, we have to pay taxes on said money, and none of us want to do that. So we just pay it all back out. We don't have to do that. So, but when we did that, and then they came back and said, "Oh, hey, by the way, here's like." It was almost like $5,000. They were like, "Here, we need you to pay us $5,000 for using this," which was a pain in the ass. But now we don't have to worry about that anymore.
But yeah, it was a good time. I think I don't know that it would be nearly as successful now, obviously, with it going a little bit the other direction in terms of participation. But yeah, that was what we did. So we were, kind of throwing around the idea earlier. I don't think that, it's for everybody for sure, but it was definitely one of the better kind of tournaments that we would. Oh, we did amateur. That was one of the first times that somebody did an amateur tournament necessarily.
Actually, at the tournament that Brandon mentioned right there was at that Tribal Axe.
We did it at Tribal Axe, and then we put the person that won amateur was immediately in the.
I think we did
bracket.
More than one.
At least one is all I know for sure. I don't know which one.
Because I think didn't at least Berger and Mark Tennant and Troy, I think
that was all of those were at the same tournament, I think.
Yeah, that was at that
Yeah, we took like the top 4 into the pro.
Yeah, and that was
but
we tried to do other cool things too, like, I mean, maybe you said this while I was looking it up, but like we tried to do things like the person who was like first person out of the money for like all the things, like we gave them entry into the next event.
We did we did the top female got entry into the next
into the next tournament. Yeah, so we try to do cool things like that. That way it was, gave people reason to want to continue to do them.
And if anybody went 0-2, or sorry, 0-8,
yeah,
we also give them free entry into the next one. We never had to do that though. Somebody always won one game in something. At least one game in something. Because I know that the first one somebody got really close to being able to get it.
I can't remember who it was.
It was Ernest Redmond.
Oh yeah.
And he ended up winning a duels game on Sunday. At least one. They might have won more than that. But he almost got to cash in the 0-8 prize. But Char, you got one? You got one of the 0-8 prizes? I don't remember if we ended up giving one out. I thought we didn't after that, but there's a chance that we did. So yeah, it was cool. It was a cool idea. It'd be cool to maybe do it again and not do anything too crazy as far as super close, but you didn't do it. You didn't do it. See, I was right. All right, what else are we going to talk about? Oh, you want to talk about practice kill shots? We got a lot of people on here. We got 26 viewers. This is probably peak. We've been getting around 30. So,
What was that big comment that just came in here?
that is about venues closing, size of the venues being smaller and smaller participation. What size venue would you be looking for? Would you look at changing the entry fee to compensate? I think
So
possibly.
to explain the entry fee, we decided to do the entry fee that way so that there was equivalent value to every discipline. We didn't want one discipline to because when you look at Waddle, Hatchet is almost always the most expensive thing. It's like the thing that everyone wants to do. So we kept all of them the same so that there was no weight difference. Now, obviously, duels would be higher because each person is paying 100, but it's essentially keeping the weight the same because you're going to split the prize pool. So
Actually, it was some of my favorite duels tournaments because if you won, you didn't get shafted. So I mean, I think that if we did it, there would definitely be some conversation about trying to make it less, and I think we could probably do some slightly smaller
we've had
venues.
some cool concepts for like pricing things before we haven't used yet. So
Yeah, I think you could probably do. I mean, I think you would still want to keep them all the same, but you could maybe lower it. I don't know. We haven't really gone that far down it yet, so we'll see. Could happen. But yeah, that was the what Kinson just said, encouraging people to throw more disciplines was also part of it because at the time
100%.
knife was still pretty new and it was trying to get people to get involved in knife.
I mean, and realistically, the same for Big X. Big X wasn't
Yeah.
quite as highly thrown as
Yeah, Big
Hatchet
X
and
kind
duels.
of dominates the size of brackets now because of AM being split off. So who knows? No, not sure right now because we don't know if we're going to do it, but there's a chance. So we'll
Yeah.
see. Just wanted to see what people thought. But on to our next question. This is a purely hypothetical question. All
It's
right.
actually the reason why, why I called the title to this episode. Why do things happen this way?
Oh. No, not knife duels, Kevin. That's not the most fun. That's the worst fun.
Actually, it was this next topic and why there was a random massive tournament scheduled in the middle of the year.
Oh. So, all right, purely hypothetical. You show up to league and you show up to a marathon league, a different venue. You've never been there before. You show up, get in your practice throws, and it's before your first game, and it's you're at 9 practice throws. They said you could have 10, and the other guy on the other side, regular at that venue, you don't, you don't know him, not good friends with him, whatever, or you do. I don't know. I don't think it changes anything. And that guy says, "All right, you going for last practice throw, or it's our practice throw. What are you going for?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna practice a kill." You're like, "Yeah, me too." All right, you both smoke it. Both get, right down the middle, top to bottom, best kill shot you've ever thrown. And that guy turns around to the person judging and is like, hit. You keeping the score? You taking the kill shot? Or are you treating it like it was your practice throw and now you're about to tap axes and then go into throw 1? This is a class participation, so feel free to comment. what you're doing, because this is a hot topic recently. Oh, Sebastian thinks that's cheating. That's a thought. A lot of no's. Interesting. Okay, okay, we're getting a fair amount of no's. Kyle, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts was I'd also like to add how many people throw kill shots on 1 and 2. Or throw on 1 and then don't throw on 2. As part 2 of this question.
Looks like everybody's going with practice.
Which
Anybody? No. So, all right. Here's another question. Has anybody ever seen it happen at a venue you've been to,
Yeah,
or
there's the-
your own
there's the
venue
question.
or anything? You ever seen it happen and been like, ooh, ooh,
who just said the
pocket that for later.
Pocket
Yeah,
that
save
for
that.
later.
Yo, save that for throw 9. Y'all remembered that, all right? So, I don't know.
I have not seen it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, so
Did one and kill survive.
I have seen it. At least like in person before. So yeah. I mean, I have also Jimmy, I have also joked about doing it. Ooh, well, for anybody that is, not sure about it, or has never seen it, or is curious, how would one know if anybody's ever doing it? Well, every game that you've ever thrown that is, if it's been in the Waddle app, you can go back and look at it, and it's really obvious when some places do it, especially if the whole league is doing it, because then it becomes really obvious if that's what they're doing.
Especially when the
So-
whole league is doing it and the majority of the league throws perfect on kill shots.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So, you can go back and look at some leagues if you ever think somebody. You can do a little research. I can give you some tips and tricks on how to spot it. The easiest way is, oh, this is a person that never goes for kill shots typically, or they have less than, let's say they have less than 28 kill shots thrown, because that's a little weird. But then that's weird. They hit all of them. So let's say somebody goes 9 for 9 in their league. That's awfully interesting, and I feel like you should be going for more. So then if you want to dive a little deeper, you can scroll down and click where their games
So
are.
real.
Scroll all the way to the bottom. And then you can click on each game and you can see that, like, oh, they went for a kill on throw 1 here. Oh, that's interesting. And they hit. Next game they didn't go for 1. Next game they didn't. Next game they didn't. Oh, there's one where they went throw 1. Oh, Aaron, the problem is there's a lot of them. So
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a league.
There's
it
a
would be,
lot more than you would
It would be a lot of leagues.
think. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I've just always wanted to know what a bunch of other people thought about it. I've obviously talked to other people, friends in the community. Like when you know somebody about doing it, people know. It just is what it is, I guess.
Also, as a
Some
reminder,
people will always say that, oh no, we weren't cheating. I was just sometimes doing kills on 1. It's just really convenient that that person never misses on throw 1.
yeah. Also, as a reminder, and maybe people just don't know this, when you start a game in the app, there's a timestamp.
Yeah, if you've never looked, when you go to score a game, there's a very detailed down to the second time.
This is
Timestamp.
actually really great because this is going back to the Dead Center podcast. They actually ask about like length of marathon leagues. What's the shortest marathon league you think you've ever thrown in, Lucas?
Oh, probably like hour and a half.
Probably like knife duels. or hatchet duels?
No,
you
just
think?
hatchet duels.
Yeah.
So whenever Michael and Colby were still throwing a lot together, and Hayden and I were throwing, that was like we would throw against them if they were in town. We would figure out a way to throw a marathon, and it would just be us two teams, and we would just go for it. And sometimes we would even switch up the teams. So like for the longest time, my best duels league was with Colby. And sometimes if Ian was in town, I would throw one with Ian and Michael and Colby, or whatever. And some of those were like fast, very fast. Um, but other than that, I mean, I don't think you can realistically throw a marathon in less than 1 hour. I mean, you'd be pushing it to throw it in 1 hour, and you got to have people that are like paying attention and ready to go.
So,
Um,
so I've done. I mean, there are people that like watch this stuff. It's been that way for a long time. I mean, there have been throwers that don't throw anymore that have. I mean, there's always been things that get suspected. I found a flaw in the app a handful of years back. Actually, Mike Morton thanked me for finding that flaw, and I immediately fixed it. But like I said, you can use timestamps, and you can see the timestamps, and like if you're throwing a marathon in like 25 minutes,
you're not throwing.
you're not throwing.
Yeah. So
Like,
for anybody that has ever like, paid attention, there are timestamps. You can see when a game starts and ends. You can see when the first game starts and the last game ends. And yeah, so if you've ever considered like, ooh, let's just put in scores. Yeah,
and
somebody ever
it's
goes
very
back.
noticeable. Like I will say that like there are definitely times that people can like figure something out and they'll throw a better league. But like if you like throw a marathon league, even like if you have a bad day, like I don't think you're gonna like tank incredibly bad, but like if you're going from like if you're having like 10-point swings and averages, like
Um, Sebastian, I don't know. I haven't personally seen any 25-minute marathons. I haven't looked into those things, but I do know that 3 years ago, there were games that were taking less than 10 seconds.
yeah.
And those were against sometimes made up people, sometimes real people. But that is how that person
There
got
was one that
ultimately.
was found that was deceased as well, that their profile was used.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, there have been people in the past that have thrown games, and by thrown I mean what they were doing ultimately, supposedly, I guess, never. I didn't see it 100% or didn't hear it from them 100%, so I won't say for sure. But they were just throwing their games the day before and putting in the scores the next day during league. So yeah. And I do know for sure that what Becca just said, um, not necessarily exactly that, but I do know that a few years ago, whenever you could just throw a marathon at the end of a season, season 4, you could just see the score that you needed to get,
it used to be
throw it.
live. Like
Yeah.
I
Oh, and
remember sitting on the phone with people like
what's
this would have been
what's
in
really
like
crazy
21 or
is
22 and you could just watch it go live.
yeah, Becca that year, that person was doing the exact same thing where they were going for a kill on practice and counting it if they hit it. And it was miraculous. There were like I don't know, it was a smaller league, like 8 people, like 7 people had their highest ever league score, and their highest game score, um, at that time. So it was interesting. That person did. That is actually the only person I can say 100% got caught doing that.
I will say
Um,
that like this is partially why we're always so like adamant about like seeding and
yeah,
like why seeding, because like obviously if somebody does that stuff ends up seated high in a tournament, like it's going to be obvious when something happens. But like it also it screws over the other people in the bracket and where they get placed, especially for like worlds.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we're such advocates for like trying to do something with seeding that is more tournament based or day of based.
All right. Well, I got trivia tonight, so I got about 15 more minutes. So one more hot topic. This one is what are you guys' thoughts on like a dual affiliation?
Ooh, we got
Like
we got the rage bait topics going on tonight.
Yeah. So not and I have heard rumor of there already being some out there. Maybe a community venue or two that are dual affiliated, or it's a regular venue with one and then dual affiliated as a community venue for the other. What's the
I
what
will
are your
say,
guys'
as
thoughts?
a venue owner, I would 100% love to see it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, especially right now, the way things are, like, you know, I don't necessarily have I don't necessarily have, I don't know that having waddle footers on my boards like actually do a whole lot for the World Axe Throwing League. But like I would do it and just keep my waddle stuff up and like just do IATF marathons if we were able to be dual affiliated.
Yeah. So
I would do it in a heartbeat.
for a while, I thought like, oh, this would really help Waddle if it was dual affiliation, but I'm not so sure
I,
anymore. I think that it would maybe more so help ITF, unfortunately.
I think it would do. I think it would help both, but in different ways.
Yeah.
Like I think obviously it would help, you know, have more IATF venues or like at least more IATF throwing from people who just throw waddle. But I think
Yeah.
where it helps waddle is on the product side. Like I think
Sure,
waddle
sure.
sells more axes in waddle venues if they were able to be, because like you're gonna need a different big axe. I mean, unless you're already throwing a 25-inch big
Yeah, I
axe.
think ultimately they would still probably not big X, but like there would be some people that want a slightly different hatchet because of the length of the handle
Yeah, like I
and
mean, I'm
stuff like that. So
length of the handle and the blade. Like I mean, I'm not gonna throw king for bullseye.
yeah,
So
but I think it
my gosh, I tell you what, that got a ton of comments.
yeah, that got the comments. Yeah. I think it would help the sport as a whole. Not convinced exactly how much it would help or hurt Waddle per se. I do think that there would be a better chance of, but I don't know. I think you would see the Waddle venues would want to dual affiliate. I don't think you would see as many ITF venues that would be like chomping at the bit to host a Waddle event. So the way that I think it could help Waddle would be that you would get those ITF people to come to a Waddle venue, and then in hopes of being able to use them being there to get them to throw some Waddle. Right? Like once they become friends with that group at your venue, then maybe there you're able to segue. So I don't know. I think it's
like,
tough.
For me, where I'm at here in India, like we used to have a IATF venue in Cincinnati, which is, you know, essentially the same distance away from me as you are.
Yeah.
But now I think the closest IATF venue is probably up by Tyler or like wherever Tyler threw
That's in Michigan.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the closest to me.
Yeah. I think my closest is in Carolinas. It's like, I think when I looked it up, it was like 4.5 hours, maybe 5.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Unfortunately, can't, go out there for a day trip, probably. A little 9 hours of driving wouldn't,
Be a lot.
yeah, it wouldn't be great.
But I mean, you could come
Um,
up here if we could do it, or Bad Axe Nashville if they did it.
Sure.
Like,
If I could get it, if you could do dual, could just do it. Um, Real close to being motivated enough to clean out my garage, and then I could just do a community venue. But
yeah.
yeah, it'd be. I just think it's interesting. I just wanted to see if what other people's thoughts were, and or if has anybody. You probably don't want to say, but anybody throw at those secret dual affiliation venues? Yeah, dual affiliation community venue. Because there are no official. There used to be two that I know of dual affiliation. I can't remember the name of one, but I know that Choppers used to be Waddle and ITF.
Wasn't
Trying to think what the
Angry
other one
Jacks?
was. No, they just had two different venues.
Oh, okay.
One venue was ITF, one venue was Waddle, and then, from what I understood, he was asked to change it back to Waddle. Jimmy knows where it is. That boy, Jimmy. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know. I have not heard of the one that's near Jimmy, if there is one. So that's not the one that I was referring to. But I know that I have heard of at least two.
Yeah.
So
The community's so small, word travels fast. So.
yeah.
Quad
Ooh.
affiliated venue.
That's awesome, Kevin. Yeah, Sasha, I think like the only I thought there was a one other one like in 2021. And I want to say I think it was still up north somewhere.
I was gonna say I thought it was in
northeast.
Canada.
Maybe it was, but for sure, Choppers was the most notable dual affiliation that was legit. And then I'm with somebody else. Like as long as both are getting paid, I don't see, why it's really a big issue. Like if I wanted to sell Coke and Pepsi at my restaurant, I don't think Coke would really stop me. I don't think Pepsi would stop me. You ever been to a gas station? They got both. But so there is yeah. So what Jimmy is referring to is exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
A dual affiliated secret thing. So there are, at least from what I've heard, at least 3 now. And yeah, they don't have to be, you don't have to have the leagues on the same night.
Yeah, like I mean, so what I was trying to say with like I have Waddle Footers on all of my targets as a Waddle affiliate, but we use projectors at this point now. Even before projectors, like I did not have a straight Waddle target on the board. Like we had the stoplight looking thing on the center board, and we, with projectors you don't have a Waddle target on the board 90% of the time. So like, what's the issue with? I mean, I just would like to do the marathon side and.
Yeah. Funny that you say that. So we were at the Dragon's Lair, which was cool this weekend. And they did they projected their onto their target area still, but had hand painted targets. So they still projected the header, footer, and a like a tan toned wood grain down the actual target boards. And so it wasn't like super bright white like the boards come. It was a little bit more of like a natural wood color. And it was interesting. But essentially, you could do that. I mean,
did you take a picture?
If both of them, I mean, you can probably just look at any of their pictures. But it was very confusing when we first got there because we were sitting at the bar and I was like, why are their target boards like so off? And it was just the wood grain that was being projected on there made it look like a target board was like 15 inches wide, and like the bullseyes were hitting like in the middle of it and stuff. And I was like, that's really weird. But yeah, it was just a wood grain thing they had projecting on there. It was cool. It like sometimes it would shake like the smallest amount, and at that point was the only time that you could really tell. Um, but for the most part, it was good.
Oh, that's
It
very interesting. You
just
can
looked
tell in the
interesting at first.
I never would have known. I actually think I did notice because it makes the boards look like they're using different size boards, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. They made them look really wide, like almost like 12 inches, 15 inches, and I was like, "There's no,
Oh, I noticed.
way."
What I noticed was in the, I think it was Hatchet, behind you and Joe's pictures. It looks like there's like a random 6-inch board.
Yeah, like the end board is like really small.
It's like where the kill shot is.
Yeah, so
Like, looks like
it
the
was.
kill shot's on a crack.
But you could do something like that where you could project, like if ITF wants it to say ITF on a footer or on a
That's
header or
true
whatever, or
for
if
like the
Waddle
marathon or
wants
whatever
it,
for pictures.
you could still project it. I mean, and then it wouldn't be like, oh, I have to do whatever. Now, for the places that don't have projectors, maybe it, isn't possible. But I've also been to plenty of Waddle venues that don't have Waddle projected or don't have Waddle footers. Like,
100%.
yeah, I know it's supposed to be a thing that you have to get, approved and everything, but those go away. There's no like nobody's checking in 6 months and saying, "Hey, let me see your targets." So,
Yeah.
But
Dang,
all right,
we got rage bait
I know
tonight.
we
We
got
got a lot of comments.
we got a lot of comments. We got almost 40 people, but I'm at my 5 minute countdown. So if anybody's got anything they want us to talk about for the last 5 minutes, hit us with it.
What did you think of the Giannis trade?
Oh, I didn't even know there was a Giannis trade. Where'd he go?
He's in Miami. They traded him and
Kuzma?
Portis
Oh, Portis. Okay.
for Harrow, Khalil Ware. I can't tell you what the third guy's name is. It's like the
Oh, the U.S. Open? Marcus?
European
But some-
Kaspis Yaskovic, some
I'll
crazy
I'll
dude.
look it up. But
yeah,
but yeah,
and
I
then
don't
like a
know.
bunch of first round picks.
I knew he was gonna get traded. Like he wanted to get traded. So not surprised.
It was for Heat receive Giannis and Bobby Portis. Milwaukee receives Harrow, Ware, Yaquez, and Kasparis.
I think they might have got played. I think they might have got played.
And then Milwaukee does get number 13 tonight, 2031, 2033 first round, and pick swaps. So,
All right. Let's see. The things that people are suggesting. Pop darts. I don't like them. That's my feelings on them. I think it's a cool little thing for actual babies. No, I don't know. I mean, I think, whatever. It's another thing. I think the thing that I have disliked the most about it in our community is that there was a lot of energy for a few months being thrown in that direction of like promoting pop darts and trying to get people to do this and trying to keep, but that same level of effort was not being put into axe throwing. And I like axe throwing, and I wish that people were putting that same sort of energy into axe throwing. It seems like a new thing. It seems like it's already started to die off, at least in our community a little bit. There's a few people that obviously are still doing it, but I don't think it's quite the thing that it was 3-4 months ago.
yeah, I think it's kind of
so-
the same. I mean, similar complaints to like axe throwing, like the people in charge, like actually in charge. I don't know. Maybe I don't know that they're the right people sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I think they do great things, but I think the focus is in weird spots, and I think it has potential to be a cool thing for venues to do. I still do it. I still throw.
Oh,
it,
I think it could be a great add-on for a venue. I'm not downplaying any of that, but for a competitive thing for me, it's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, but that's the biggest issue is exactly that. Like they did seek out tons of axe throwing venues. They posted so much about Pop Darts in the axe throwing space. And axe throwers came over to Pop Darts. And while there's some Pop Darts throwers that have, I think, maybe one, or if that, that have participated in an axe thing, mostly in like the Florida area, there's not enough like Pop Darters who are coming in to play, like to do axe throwing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just
let's
that's
see
annoying.
real quick. I don't know who's surprised. The World Cup. I was very surprised that Cristiano Ronaldo sucked his first game. That's the best I
He
got
did
on
good
that.
today. Didn't he have 2 today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, all right, the U.S. Open. I've been granted 5 minutes from my boss to talk about the U.S. Open if we want to.
Yeah. We kind of referenced it earlier, but we didn't really
Yeah,
talk too much.
we talked about it a little bit. I think it has kind of lost its prestige with the way that it's been treated, even more so this year. And I has nothing to do with the venue. It has nothing to do with Austin. It has nothing to do with the trap. It's just I think it kind of isn't the same when you just have it at a smaller, venue. You're capping it. Um, it's I don't know. I'm gonna still try to go. For those that don't know, I mean, I don't think it's like a big secret. They last last year's U.S. Open, I probably would not have gone, but they were offering free entry to previous winners. So if they do that again, I will go to the Open. If they don't, it'll be definitely more of a decision to make because flights aren't cheap. Um, but and I got to take time off work to go, etc. Um,
Yeah, I think that's
but
the biggest issue for me is it's just like you have to take time off work and you're now giving people a super short window to be able to do that. I think that's
yeah,
tough.
I think the other big thing is that like the um, with it being this late of a notice again, it's like there's all these other things that have already been on the schedule all year that you know I and other people have made plans to go to, um, and one of those is the Ohio, which is one of the most fun events, and it's a week before or a week after. I can't remember
I
which
think it's a
one,
week
but
before. The Open is the week after Throw Ohio.
yeah. So it's like I really want to go to Throw Ohio because it's super fun, but
And there
now,
might be more people at Throw Ohio again this year because of like the relationships Tyler's made from
yeah,
ITC.
with the ITF thing. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not going because
I
I don't
think
want
it
to lie,
also hurts SoCal,
but
even though
oh,
even
for
though
sure.
it's a month prior, but like SoCal is not cheap to get to anyways, and
Yeah,
so now if there's this other tournament that also gives you the ability to get bids in the same manner, like
yeah.
now is like, oh, I'll go to the cheaper one instead of SoCal, which is an event
Well,
that I just feel like Waddle's had the opportunity to try to support and do things with, and they just, I don't know, they haven't. It's weird.
yeah. I think it's just it's a tough decision. It's a tough place. I mean, Waddle wants to continue to do it, but I think it's just something that's gonna have to be planned better. Like it would be really cool if they said, hey, this one's short notice, but just so you know, mark your calendar next year. We're doing it this date.
Yeah,
Like, let's just go ahead and put it out there. And then you go to places and you say, hey, can we have the U.S. Open here? Here's the date that we want to have it. And if they say no, you just go to a different place. You don't change the date, you change the venue. Like, there's a lot of options. I know for sure that Dan Fisher would love to have it in Atlanta. There's just options to have it at other places, and I think with more planning it would be better. Again, has nothing to do with the Axe Trap. I went last year. I enjoyed the venue. They're having another tournament soon-ish. I don't know when it is.
They might be
The
like
O-Town
this weekend.
Throwdown is like coming up. Is it this weekend? Because this weekend's Ironside.
It's not. It's not this weekend then.
Yeah, so maybe in 2 weeks. I don't know when it is, but yeah, I'd love to see it kind of back on that prestigious part. The other thing somebody asked about the Ocho. No, there won't be a separate taping, but there is an edited version of Worlds that will be shown for the Ocho. So be on the lookout for that. It's like edited down to game
Did you
3
watch?
for
Did
a
you
lot of stuff.
Did you watch the
I
whole?
clip not all of it.
Okay.
So there's options. So
Yeah, so Sam Arias and I got to do some like voiceover stuff for some of the clip down stuff. I think they did the best with what they could do with it. Some of the stuff got cut down a little bit, but I still think it gets a good representation. So maybe better than some past ones. But yeah, I think they did a good job with what they could do with cutting it down.
all right, that's it. I gotta cut it off. We'll
Gotta
talk
cut it out.
forever.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks everyone for joining us. It will get a scoreboard in random times, but not in any form of
Many
consistency.
more times than it did for the live broadcast.
It absolutely will. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Lucas got to get to trivia. We will let you know last minute next time we do an episode, and I'll try not to have a car accident keep me from being here on time. So
Yeah, and if you got more, if you have more thoughts on practice kills, the dual affiliation, or what was the other thing? Opponent scoring.
Yeah.
Leave it in the comments. Shoot me a direct message.
yeah, we do have a
figure it
council
out.
meeting. We do have a council meeting this week, so like we could take
Oh,
some
tomorrow. Oh no, wait,
Of,
Thursday.
no, Thursday. Yeah, we could take some of this feedback to the council if you.
Yeah.
If you guys have,
or
or
if,
you can just send emails to council@worldaxethrowingleague.com and
Yeah.
we can.
or
try
if you
and get them
find, some, you're like, oh, I think this person's cheating. Send it to me. I got a couple minutes. I'll click through, let you know my thoughts. All right. Adios.
All right, thanks, guys.